little in the world of sports is more erratic, less predictable than the scoring of a fight.
We're talking very cockily, but we don't have a judge's scorecard. You have to think that if you didn't keep score, the winner of this fight is Fenech. One never knows, but this has got to be a clear-cut win for Fenech, who has covered himself with glory.
The decision is even a draw.
Oh, goodness, that is a draw, and you can see the reaction of Sweet Pea Whitaker. He can't believe it, and frankly, I can't either.
105 to 104 in favor of the winner and still champion, Chris Eubank.
Wait a minute, how did he get 105 to 104?
Sorry, this doesn't seem to add up. They may have to go back and add it up again. What's holding Randall up? Oh, look at this block. Chavez. It's a bad cut and a real bad play.
You want the fight to go on?
They're going to go to the scorecards. Controversy again.
If you implement a better scoring system that could be adhered to, better judges, and a system of recourse to address the atrocities that are taking place against the fighters, I think that something's going to happen there. I think that'll break it.
It's an imperfect world, boxing. As long as we have human beings scoring, I think you're always going to have some controversies. What we want is, what we don't want, I'll say, is to have one judge have it 8-4 in rounds and another judge have it 8-4 the other way. Then we have a problem. We know there's going to be some rounds that are so close to call that one judge will give it one way, one will give it the other. And we have no problem with that. What we don't want is the wide disparity of scoring.
And the controversy over scoring continued last March for the hotly contested and highly competitive WBA Cruiserweight title fight between Orlin Norris and Arthur Williams was decided by one judge's very lopsided score. Patricia Morse-Jarman had it 118-110 for Norris. Unbelievable.
One judge had a little lopsided, but, despite that, I thought I won the fight clearly.
Well, I felt like I was cheated, and I was real angry for a while. I mean, it took me a good while to get over it. I mean, I watched the tape over and over, and that's what kind of made me get over it, because I felt, every time I watched the tape, I knew I won.
Now, tired of the controversy and eager for a resolution, Orlin Norris and Arthur Williams have decided they, and not boxing's fickle scoring system, will be the ultimate judge in tonight's rematch.
Hopefully in this fight, I can be the judge in the fight. It doesn't have to go to the cards.
I don't want it to go to the decision, so I'm going to be, trying my best to knock him out.
Well, we can't seem to get through a night of boxing these days without some form of controversy. As mentioned, the best way for Orlin Norris and Arthur Williams to avoid the strange scoring syndrome, 2 letters, KO. And just in case you missed it, we'd like to show you the judges' scorecards from that first Norris-Williams fight back on March the 4th. Norris taking the close split decision victory to retain the title. Here the breakdown. Judge Bill Graham went with Arthur Williams by the score of 114-112. Jerry Roth had the same score but a different winner, Orlin Norris. But the real eye-opener was turned in by Patricia Morse-Jarman, who had Norris winning by a whopping 118-110, which makes you wonder how 2 of the judges can have it so close while a 3rd judge can see it so one-sided, particularly when one of the other judges gave it to the opposing fighter. Ferdy, your thoughts on the scoring of that first bout?
Well, it was awful because of Patricia Jarman. The other 2 had it very close. Whoever won, it was very close. Well, what happens here is they have had a continuing problem, and the head of the commission, Mark Ratner, has done a wonderful job. He takes these judges, puts them in a room about a month later and says, okay, let's look at this thing together. When they did that with Patricia Jarman, she says 3 of those rounds I would have scored it the other way. That would have given her a respectable 115-113 for Norris. Respectable and accurate. That would have been okay. Not that 8 points. Now, by doing this over and over again, there's a hope that possibly they can get a unanimity of opinion between the judges. They'll never be exactly the same. They're not supposed to be. They're human beings judging a fight. But there should never be that disparity of 8 rounds, which we have seen here over and over again in what has been called a Vegas decision. They got to get rid of that, and Mark Ratner's doing the best he can to do that.
In light of the scoring, do you think the fighters will change their strategy in any way?
You know, I don't think so, because both of them had victory right there. I mean, Williams thought he won. Norris thought he won. Williams boxed and had a great left jab going and could have finished him off. He's not going to change that. And Norris fought hard, but his mind wasn't on it. It seemed like he wandered away from his purpose. If he keeps into that game plan of rushing, a hard attack to the body, and aggressiveness, I think that Norris could win this fight more easily than he fought harder the last time, if you can understand that.
Well, he said he wasn't mentally focused that first time around. We'll see what happens tonight. Right now, we get our first look at the challenger, Arthur James Williams. There he is, 29 years of age, born in Pensacola, Florida, now makes his home right here in Las Vegas. The WBA's top contender for the Cruiserweight title, the current USBA Cruiserweight champ. A 2-to-1 underdog, 21-2-1 his record with 16 knockouts tonight, his second shot at a world title. Many felt he won it the first time around back on March 4th. Arthur Williams, who is 3-0 in rematches, revenge nothing new to this man. Back in 1991, after a third-round knockout at the hands of a fighter named Clendon Warrior, Williams' only other defeat outside of Norris, he came back with a vengeance. Just 2 months later, he destroyed Warrior with a vicious second-round TKO. Of course, Warrior is not Norris. He calls himself King Arthur. Tonight, this would-be king gets another chance at the crown. And now the champion, Orlin Norris, looking to dispel any doubt that he is superior to Arthur Williams in the ring. Many of the belief that Norris was quite fortunate to escape with that victory back in March. Perhaps even Norris himself had to wonder, judging from his reaction after the first fight. 28 years old, Lubbock, Texas. His birthplace, now lives in San Diego. A record of 40-3 with 1 no decision, 22 knockouts tonight. His second title defense. Orlin Norris, who fought his first 33 fights, is a heavyweight, including 2 stints as NABF champion. After wins over Greg Page and Ronaldo Snipes, a title shot against Mike Tyson was derailed in 1990 when he lost to Bert Cooper. After losing the NABF belt in his second reign to Tony Tucker, he shed over 20 pounds, and since his move down to the cruiserweight division, he's 11-0 with 7 knockouts. Earlier, they had a problem with the ropes. We understand the third strand from the top. We'll take a look at the action earlier. The Mirage ring crew working diligently to fix it between the 2 championship fights. We'll see how it holds up. It was not the area where the fighter was knocked through the ropes earlier tonight. We showed you on the highlights when Francois Botha did the damage against Phil Scott. Looks like it's semi-repaired anyway. And here it is now, all ready to go for this main event. Let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape. The age almost even, with Norris 28 and Williams 29. Williams with the 3-inch height advantage. Norris tipped the scales at 188. Williams the cruiserweight limit of 190. And the biggest disparity, as you can see, Williams with the reach advantage of nearly 8 inches. And to the WBA rules for this championship bout, the 10-point must-scoring system in effect. 3 scoring judges. No standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule again is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the final round. So the Grand Ballroom here at the Mirage Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, the scene for our featured event, the WBA Cruiserweight Championship. The rematch between Orlin Norris and Arthur Williams. Set for the introductions. We go to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the beautiful Mirage Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, for the main event of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions and the Mirage in association with Corona Beer. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing and is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association. President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Dr. Calvin Inelsing. Along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman is Dr. Elias Ghana. Commissioners, Nat Carasali, Luther Matt, Dr. James Nave, and Crispin Rivera. The executive director is Mark Ratner. Presenting the physicians at ringside, Dr. Al Capana, Dr. William Berliner, Dr. Robert Boy. Timekeeper at the bell is Al Bisick. Keeping count of the knockdowns, Jane Broadfoot. Introducing to you the judges appointed at ringside. Chuck Jumpa, Dave Moretti, and Dolby Shirley. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime. The rematch for the WBA Cruiserweight Championship of the World. Presenting the referee in charge of this bout, Richard Steele. Introducing to you first on my right, the challenger fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing black trunks with gold trim, originally from Pensacola, Florida, now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He weighed in at an even 190 pounds. His record includes 21 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the #1 cruiserweight contender in the world by the WBA. Please welcome tonight's challenger, the fighter known as King, Arthur Williams. And his opponent across the ring on my left is the defending world champion fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing white trunks and hailing from San Diego, California. He weighed in at a trim and ready 188 pounds, and he enters the ring with a record of 40 wins, 3 losses, 1 no decision, with 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the WBA Cruiserweight Champion of the World, introducing Orlin, the Juice Norris. Once again, here's your referee in charge, now to give instructions, Richard Steele.
All right, you guys, I gave you both instructions in the dressing room. I'm cautioning you again, obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
The final words from Richard Steele, whose middle name is controversy. Orlin Norris is mentioned not mentally focused for his first fight against Williams until the 6th-round wake-up call. Norris had controlled Williams in 3 or 4 sparring sessions, felt no reason to worry for the fight, but he learned a huge lesson not to take anybody for granted. He trained 3 weeks in the high altitude of Lake Tahoe, has thought about Williams every day, unlike the buildup to the first fight. Meanwhile, Williams, in the black trunks, solidified himself as a major figure in the unpopulated, often maligned cruiserweight division, despite losing to Orlin Norris. It took some guts to fight Norris, undefeated as a cruiserweight. And Williams erasing doubts that he would crumble under the pressure and power of Orlin Norris.
Williams started out rather tentative here. He hadn't got that strong jab that was dominating that last fight. But I tell you what, tell you one thing. Orlin Norris's mind is on this fight. I mean, he wants to get out of here. He doesn't want to have any kind of doubt of this.
In their first meeting, Norris came out strong, winning the first round by a 10-8 score. For those of you who followed the fight know what happened after that. Norris, many feel, prior to winning the title, long overdue for a world championship. Had he fought as a cruiserweight, not a heavyweight, earlier in his career, probably would have won a title a long time ago. Well-disciplined, deceptively strong, good speed, excellent defense, strong jaw, nice shotgun jab, solid right, which knocked Williams down in the first round of fight one.
Williams keeps pawing out that left like he's doing now. Instead of snapping it, he is going to get hit by a right hand crossing over it. Orlin's, it looks like he's going at 110 miles per hour, and the other guy looks like he's just around about 50. He's just kind of poking it out. He's very tentative. He doesn't look confident. Williams, I'm speaking of, and the exact opposite is true of Orlin Norris.
Our sometimes partner Bobby Ches had held the title, but unable to defend because of an injured back. Norris won the vacant cruiserweight title back in November with a 6th-round knockout of Marcelo Figueroa in France.
Don't hold him, punch your way out.
But Norris clearly looking the superior here in the opening round. But Arthur Williams dangerous, as Norris discovered back in March. About a minute to go in the first round.
Good rally there for a moment by Williams, but back comes Norris. He's chasing him. He's dictating the fight. He's landing the harder punches. This tentative left hand that Williams keeps putting out there is really going to cost him.
Holding and hitting by Orlin Norris, broken up by Richard Steele. A little caution.
Someone in the corner better tell him to start snapping the jab and not just laying it out there. It's not an invitation. It's supposed to be a warning.
But he knows of Arthur Williams. That left hand was blocked by Williams. Williams with the major reach advantage, great leverage, but so far not taking advantage. Final seconds of round one.
Good opening round for Orlin Norris.
We'll take it into the Williams corner. Stacy McKinley in charge.
Deep breath. Take a deep breath. Look, don't lay back on the rope on this guy, okay? Deep breath. Your box is good. You don't lay on the rope, all right? Deep breath. Good round. Good round. But you got to use that jab on him, all right? And when you're breaking towards you, don't go to the ropes, Arthur. Deep breath. You'll be all right. Some on his face. Deep breath. You're going to be all right, baby. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Watch him breaking with that hook. You block that hook. You counter with a right hand.
Let's watch the aggression of Orlin Norris. See, he is on top of him. That was a good hook followed by, it was a missed right hand and then a good left hook followed it. Look at the effect. All the way back to the ropes goes Williams, and that's what his corner is telling him not to do. You heard the corner tell Williams you got to start with a jab. That little thing dinky thing he's getting out there that's not going to do the job.
Stacy McKinley doesn't want Williams to move around as much here in the rematch. He wants him to settle down, use more leverage, not swing wildly, shorten up the punches. He taught him what he calls a Joe Louis jab and a teasing jab. In the first fight, Williams used it more as a range fighter. You see the blood from the nostril of Arthur Williams. He was bloodied in round one.
Williams' reaching for him is to try to identify the target, to try to make it stand still so he can hit it, and that's just bad stuff when you're fighting a guy that's fast like Orlin Norris. He's got a strong hands.
And Norris very cognizant of Williams' strong right hand. And it looks like Williams is looking to unload it more frequently now. He has an equally effective left jab, but there's a good cutting right by Norris.
Norris is getting the range, no question about it. He's more aggressive. He's more confident. He's getting that range, and he looks like he's enjoying the evening.
Yes, thus far, this is certainly a different Orlin Norris than we saw in the first fight. A lot more confident, a lot more focused. He said he was physically okay, but mentally not there in that first fight. Just did not take the challenger seriously enough. Left hand, nice hook by Norris.
You know, you left with a thought both these guys want to go up to the heavyweights. You're not looking at heavyweights here. I mean, you look at the cruiserweights, as bereft as that division is of startling big talents, these two guys are the best there is there.
Norris was more of a defensive fighter when he was a heavyweight.
He would have to be. He's too small.
He says his walking around weight is 215. Williams' walking around weight is 220. Both would like to unify the title after this and then move up to the bigger bucks division, the heavyweights.
Well, I would rather be the champion of the cruiserweights for a few years than I would be just another contender in the heavyweights. So my philosophy, be a champion.
That may have been the best punch by Williams. That kind of spun Norris's head a bit.
Oh, nice little uppercut. Nice uppercut by Orlin Norris, inside and hard. Kind of unseen punches, which the public doesn't see, but the other guy feels a jolt.
Mentioned the off-the-line cruiserweight division. This division has had its problems over the years because it's been more of a holding zone.
That's what it is. It's a holding pattern to go up to the heavyweight, and the only one that's ever been able to do it is Evander Holyfield.
Here's a crunching right hand by Orlin Norris.
Nice overhand right. He's doing what he wants to, is Orlin Norris.
Because they're going to get the hollering at him over there, you know. I'm pretty sure he's going to make more mistakes. Just stay cool and calm, just like you're doing. You're working on that nose. Deep breath. So I'm going to throw that uppercut, come back to the short hook. Too wide, and keep that right hand around the back of that chin. Deep breath. You're doing great, baby. Just keep it up. Very good, now. Work your defense with it.
Here's that little left hook and and the sneaky uppercut. Now watch the little uppercut come in. And in just a few minutes after that came the uppercut. If we have time, we'll show it to you. It is just right there. Just right on the body. Beautiful stuff, those little inside uppercuts.
And round 3 scheduled for 12 for the WBA Cruiserweight Championship. The champion, Orlin Norris, in the white trunks. The challenger, Arthur Williams, in the black with the gold trim.
Certainly the corner of Norris is not worried one little bit. They seem to say, well, we've got 2 rounds in the kit. Just keep doing it. Shorten up your punches and go with the hook.
Great.
Abel Sanchez running the show in Norris's corner. Blood still streaking from the right nostril of Williams. Norris, who prides himself on defense, showing the offense. Winging away, pouring it out. Oh, what a heavy right hand. And Williams in trouble.
Williams in big trouble. He may not be able to weather this.
He was just about ready to go down, saved by the right shoulder of Orlin Norris.
Well, Norris has got plenty of time here to finish him off if he just gets nice and calm. There he goes.
Another big right, followed by another sledgehammer rights, and down goes Williams. Crumbles. It's all over.
It's absolutely 3 sledgehammer right hands. And there was no question of a decision in this fight. It is all Norris. Took 2 rounds and finished off with a gigantic knockout.
Orlin Norris erasing any doubt.
Okay, relax.
And he retains his title.
Well, Williams didn't fight with anything resembling the talent that he showed in the last time. He looked tentative. He almost looked too cautious and didn't do anything to keep Orlin Norris off. Norris had his way. He was completely indefensive at the end. He was, no question about it, flat out on his face.
The 5'11" Orlin Norris chopping the redwood down. 6'2" Arthur Williams winding up on the canvas. And Norris goes 2 for 2 against this young man.
That's the Orlin Norris we know. Yes.
You can hear in the background, that's the Orlin Norris we know.
Well, let's take a look at how he got him in trouble. Orlin Norris connected. Look at that hook and then the right hand afterwards. The right hand just shook him completely. After that, it was just a barrage, because it's a matter of time when you get that guy in trouble. And Norris is hitting that hard. I'm surprised that he's hitting so openly, because that means he has no regard whatsoever for Williams. He just means we're going to knock this guy out and he's never going to punch back. That's an awful lot of punishment there. He would have gone down there, as you said prior to that, but he was lifted up by Norris's body. And some more look at basically the same thing, the hook and then the right hand. From there on out, it's academic. I mean, he really didn't have a chance. Of course, he took a lot of punishment. That zinging right hand uppercut had that thing landed. But you see, he was so confident, Norris was so confident, he had no desire to even worry about defense. It was just winging away. Look at those punches. Had Williams had anything, he could have come back and counter punching and done some damage, but he had absolutely nothing. I mean, he is, for all intents and purposes, unconscious there. He's just standing up, but he's out. And at the end of the fight, I think that's probably the closest thing I've ever seen to somebody get nailed into the canvas with 3 straight right hands. Watch these right hands. They come from all the way back. 1, and then another one, 2, and then another one, 3, and then by this time, it's all over. I mean, that is like nailing a nail into a piece of wood. And for those of you who didn't see it clearly, here's another. Here is another view of the end of the fight. This is Orlin Norris chopping down the tree. 1, and another huge right hand. Look, it's totally from all the way back here. He reached all the way back. Well, what he couldn't do in the first fight, he certainly did in the second, leaving absolutely no doubt that he is the champion of the cruiserweights.
And Ferdy, Orlin Norris hammering away with a vengeance. Orlin Norris, who raises his record to 41-3 with 23 knockouts. We are set for the official time. We'll go up into the ring, and our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the time of 1 minute 8 seconds and round number 3, the referee in charge, Richard Steele, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout and still champion, Orlin the Juice Norris.
So there you have it, Orlin Norris taking the rematch with Arthur Williams, and the door is now wide open to try and unify the cruiserweight title if that's what he wishes to do, by beating Anaclet Wamba and Al Cole, the other cruiserweight champions, and then perhaps move back up to heavyweight for the bigger money. The fight doctor is standing by in the ring with the winner. Ferdy?
Well, you said there wasn't going to be any doubt this time. There was going to be no doubt, just 2 words, K and O.
That's right. Now it's Orlin Norris versus Dr. Freddie Pacheco.
All right, we'll get it on the next time, but this time you beat me good.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was a good fight, you know. I came out to do what I wanted to do. I was able to do it, and I took him out.
Let's take a look at when you first got him in trouble. Let's look at this. You tell me what you were doing, because these shots were great.
All right, I'm just waiting on him, taking my time, because before the last fight, he was getting away from a lot of my shots. I was putting my feet together perfectly, and then stepping in, and then, because if he would have moved back, I still would have got him.
He didn't seem to have any jab to keep you off. Look at these punches. You're throwing them from way back, like you didn't have any worry that that guy was going to counter punch.
He was out. He was hurt. You know, it's only a matter of time at that point.
As you will see the end of the fight as it comes up on our replay, you will see how you throw punches from so far back you must have dislocated. Here's the one where you throw 3 humdingers. Watch this. Talk to us. These are the right hands that hammered him into the canvas.
Yeah, you know, I know right there. I mean, he couldn't.
There's 1.
He couldn't throw anything back. I saw his eyes every time I would land.
There's 2.
And that's why I wanted to hit him right in the ear.
And there are 3. I don't think you even threw a left hand or thought about it. You just had 3 winging right hand punches.
Wasn't necessary.
Well, when a man is down like that, he is out. There is no question about it. And the question's got to be, you're the cruiserweight champion. Why do you want to mess around with the heavyweights when you're so good as a cruiserweight?
Right now, the heavyweights are not even in my mind right now. I'm thinking about the cruiserweights unifying or something. I'm not even thinking about the heavyweights. That's you guys thinking about that right now.
I'm not thinking about it. I think you're a great cruiserweight champion. You should stay there. That's where it's good. All right, and you're satisfied, obviously satisfied with performance. Can you improve on it?
No, that's about as good as you'll ever get.
Yep, this is Orlin Norris's dad, and you absolutely can't say anything better about your performance. Did you think that he had anything to fight you with in the first 2 rounds? He didn't seem to hit you with anything.
Well, I mean, I knew he had the jab, but I don't know if I kept him circling to his right, he had nothing.
All right, and from a very satisfied camp, and well, you should be, to Steve Albert at ringside.
Thank you very much, Bertie. Orlin Norris has not lost in 12 fights as a cruiserweight.